Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 95. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, how are you doing on this fine Sunday afternoon?
Nice and warm and cozy, in inside instead of outside where the snow is. Well, it's not snowing for real here. I don't know what's the weather like for you.
Oh, it's a thunderstorm.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah, that's a good mix, right? Thunderstorm, ice, rain, snow,
Floods. Yeah,
floods.
there's floods. There's a flood warning, but we're safe here. We're far removed from the water by at least a good 50 feet. So,
Oh, well, you're set, bro. That's never gonna come up 50 feet.
hey man, slow week when it comes to VR gaming news. Well, I mean, except for that one thing. Did you hear?
Which one thing?
The PlayStation VR2 finally confirmed. Kind of a big deal this week.
Oh yeah, yeah. We talked about that on the virtual show, or I guess it's the Strangers in the Night. I don't know. We haven't really found fell on for sure on that, but yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what. I'm still psyched about PlayStation VR 2. Still psyched about what it means for the whole industry as a whole. I was just talking to a lot of customers about that this week, and one
You
guy.
know, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, one guy he was emphatic that he was got the new Xbox ordered or whatever, and he was ready for it to come in, and he was emphatic that the Quest 2 was going to work on it, and like that he had heard that somewhere. And I was like, well, I'm told him I do a VR podcast. I haven't heard that yet, but I mean, I want it to be true. That'd be cool if that
We,
partnership
we
happened.
well, in fairness, we had mentioned the possibility a time or two, but as time rolls along, that seems less and less likely a possibility.
Yeah, no, he sounded like it. He just heard it yesterday, and like his mom called him up and said, "Hey, dude, Xbox is working with the Quest 2." And I almost wanted to take it as gospel, but I don't know this guy. I don't know what he knows. So
Sounds like an effective Microsoft disinformation campaign to me.
yeah, yeah, no, I think maybe at some point we're gonna see it. Probably sooner than we think. I mean, you got everybody going in. Apple, we're waiting on Nintendo. So
Yeah, the bandwagon's moving strong. And if you didn't already know what a big deal PSVR is, people kind of forget over the last 6 months because everything's been relatively quiet in terms of console VR. If you didn't already know what a big deal console VR is, I mean, this last week has been telling, right? Because I mean, what did they really say that we didn't already know? Not much, but the media coverage has just been widespread. Not only industry media, but mainstream media. Not just in the tech space or in the gaming space, but all of the big media sites covering basically a reaffirmation, not really a confirmation, but a reconfirmation of things that they've already said. Really, the only new info we got was one that it's going to be cabled, and two, that the controllers are going to feature similar features to the DualSense controller. Everything else that was said, we've heard from them before.
yeah, that's big though. The DualSense controllers, man. And I know some people in the Discord kind of seemed a little upset about it, or in their way that they talk about it. But you had mentioned that it's going to be the best controller in VR out there, or could be. I mean, obviously, we thought Index was going to be the best, and then it turned out not to be. But I think Sony will deliver, and I think at probably when it drops and people finally realize how good PlayStation VR 2 is going to be, there's going to be a lot of people that really, really, really want to have it, and it's going to be hard to get, at least as far as I think it will be. But we'll see.
Yeah, I've been contemplating, why it is that we all got so excited about this reconfirmation, myself included. I'm still hyped up about it. And I think that the reason why is, most of us, or at least a lot of us, myself included, PSVR was our first taste of VR. And as any VR enthusiast will tell you, the reason why we're spending all of these thousands of dollars and buying every game and piece of hardware up that comes out is we're chasing that feeling we had the first time, right? We're trying to get that first time back again. And for a lot of us, PSVR was that first time. And knowing Sony, knowing how they're committed to generational improvement, uh, we know that there's going to be new features. You can bet your ass there's going to be great games. And I think we all kind of know in the back of our minds that PSVR2 is pretty much our best chance if we're going to have any kind of experience that rivals the experience that we had when we first got into VR. It's going to come with PSVR2.
Yeah, I think the immersion level is about to get kicked up about 7 notches. I don't think people realize, between the Tempest audio, the controllers, one of the things, my biggest gripes about PlayStation VR originally, the first one, is everything's going away. The tracking's going to be gone. The controllers are going to be amazing. So everything that would have made me think I'd rather prefer PC over PlayStation VR disappears, because what you've said, and you've said from day one about PlayStation VR, is 100% true, and I don't even think it's arguable. But they have the exclusives. They know what they're doing, and I think what we're about to see on the AAA level in the next few years is going to blow us away from Sony, and it makes me excited for the industry overall, and makes me want to get a PlayStation VR again. So.
I've said it many times. I think to this day that the PlayStation VR library is still the best library of exclusives in VR. And I was watching PSVR without Pro the other day, and they made a good point that I never really had considered until they said it. But throughout the entire life cycle of PlayStation VR 1, Sony's never supported it with one of their big IPs. We haven't had any games from any of the major Sony IPs. There's been no God of War, no Uncharted, no Last of Us. We're just now starting to get rumors about Horizon Zero Dawn, but even that is a fairly new IP. So I think that this is something that we can expect to see from a PlayStation VR2, and building upon the VR exclusives that they've already got. Just adding a couple of these flat IPs in with that is going to be an amazing, amazing library.
Yeah, especially for those people that never even considered getting PlayStation VR, when they see their favorite IP coming into virtual reality. I think that'll be the big draw. That'll be the big news. Last of Us 2 or Last of Us 1, because we want to play the good one in VR, not the other one. But no, I don't know. I think it would be amazing, and I think it's coming sooner than we think. So.
Yeah, as usual, and it's not like Sony's going to have the market on that, because as we know, Oculus got some tight exclusives coming up as well when it comes to the Ubisoft titles that are coming. And if the Resident Evil 4 rumor proves to be true, I mean, that'll be a big one as well. Boy Brown joining us in the chat says that his only deal with the PSVR2 is pretty much the same thing Anthony went on his big rant the other day about, is that he doesn't want to buy a PlayStation 5. It's a lot of money when you think about buying the console and buying the headset. Even if it is just, a $300 headset, it's a $500 console. A $400 if you get the digital version, of course. But that's true. It is a lot of money. And, when I first got into VR, it was a lot of money. And the way I dealt with that is I bought my PlayStation 4 a full year ahead of when I bought my VR headset. Broke just to break that cost up a little bit. I spent that year flat gaming a little bit. I played some of the great Sony exclusives during that year, and then when the time came, I got my headset. And I'm no rich guy. I'm doing the same thing this generation. I picked up my PlayStation VR. I'm sorry, my PlayStation 5 at launch, basically for VR, knowing that it was going to be a while before we had the second headset. But at least I may not play my PlayStation VR all that much. PlayStation 5, all that much, excuse me. But I still think my purchase was worth it just because I already know I've got that in my back pocket. And when the headset comes out, I should be able to afford it, no problem.
Are you telling me you're not balling out of control? That's what that was it.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, I mean, it feels like it sometimes, right? But no, I'm maneuvered and saved and hustled my way into all the stuff I've got this last year, and blessed I've been for
Well,
sure.
it's a fair assessment. I mean, nobody wants to have to buy the new computer and the VR kit or whatever. But like you said, if you buy it ahead of time and buy it now, well, I don't know if you can buy it now. If you can find it, buy it now, or just start saving, start scrimping. That's the thing. It's like even myself, stop having a Starbucks latte every day or every other day. $7 here or $7 there. That adds up quick, or whatever it is. Don't go out to lunch for a little bit. People sacrifice. Do it for VR. Do it for your
Yeah,
baby.
Paradise Decay joining us in chat says that he's buying his PlayStation 5 just for VR, just like his PS4 he bought just for VR.
Mhm.
And you know, I think there is some advantage, especially for people like our friends here, Rendered Reality, who are joining us in chat. You know, guys like them have never had PSVR at all.
Mm.
So like they can go ahead and pick up the PS5 now ahead of time and have that ready for when the new headset drops. But in the meantime, they can watch Facebook, they can watch Craigslist, they can pick up a deal on a first generation PlayStation VR. And again, the best library in VR. I mean, so many amazing games. I mean, if you've never owned a PSVR, you've got enough exclusives to do you for a year. And many, well, not many of them, but a few of them, absolutely beautiful, even more so on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, even if you're one of those tracking people like Scion, that it has to be perfect tracking. There's still games like Astrobot or Rush of Blood, or like ones that just aren't affected by the tracking at all. And so as you're doing your thing, and the controls are perfect as well. There's the games that people have issues with the Move controllers or whatever, and they just don't want to deal with the tracking jank. Then get those ones and play those ones. So
PSVR Underground joining us in chat says Farpoint. Exactly. And Roots, exciting times. PlayStation Plus, I've said it every month this year. It's getting better and better and better. And next month it's going to get even better. They're giving Farpoint away next month.
what? No, man. I already own it, but actually I don't own it. I guess I don't have it on disc. I need to get it on my account, right? I don't have PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you can literally, if you keep your eye out, you can find these 1 year memberships to PlayStation Plus for $35 to $40. And when you think about all the games that you get with that, and now increasingly better and better games, I mean, it's really a no brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's cool.
Let me ask you, AJ, while we've got you in chat, uh, you know, uh, the developer behind Farpoint recently said that they've got some news coming. And when I saw Farpoint in the PlayStation Plus lineup, I was thinking, man, I mean, as awesome as it is, I hope that's not the news. Do you think that was what they're referring to, or do you think maybe there could be something more? Maybe perhaps a PS5 patch for Farpoint. That would be amazing. And I'm kind of holding my breath, hoping that there's something like that coming in tandem with Farpoint releasing on the PS Plus this month.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, that Farpoint game was so amazing, man. It was one of the games I was super glad that I played the full thing through, right? Because I'm a big believer that not every game deserves, like every movie. If it's a bad movie or a bad game, there's going to be a point where I'm just going to say, I'm just done. I'm done spending time on this game. I never felt that way with Farpoint. If anything, I felt bummed out when it was over. And it was the one game where I got so into the cutscenes, I was a little bummed out when I got pulled out, and they were like, all of a sudden I'm in action again, and I'm like, oh shit, man! Like I really was into the story. I really liked it. So I would love to see a sequel, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, Gamertag VR joining the chat says Impulse Gear. Thank you, GT. You're right. I called them the developer. It's Impulse Gear.
Mm.
Let's see here. Rendered, or I'm sorry, Technoglitch says, I just want to know if AIM Controller 2.0 will come out as well. Now, this is something that I'm hoping for. And again, I was watching PSVR Without Parole the other day, and I brought it up in their chat, and they seem to think that with all of the next level features being built into the PSVR2 controllers, that we might see something a little more akin to a gun stock for the new PlayStation controllers, which is certainly a possibility, and it would be consumer friendly. You would think, cheaper to manufacture, cheaper to sell. But I still kind of would like an AIM 2.0 because with the singular gun in your hands, not only is it going to feel more like a real gun, but there's opportunities there for stronger, haptics. I mean, you're holding a gun, right? You want the thing to really rattle in your hands. Plus, they could build some kind of things into the design of it to work with the reload mechanics, right? Things for you to interact with, maybe a bottom button to push your clip in, or something on top to rack the chamber. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of possibilities that come with a dedicated gun controller. And with Sony's increased focus on immersion this generation, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a new AIM controller with these sorts of features involved.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool if they had just some kind of like you said, a gun stock feature that you could maybe add to the controllers that brings them in. Can you imagine if you have your two controllers and you bring them together and it's a really badass gun, but separate, you've got your two guns, but the controller's made for it, like you know what I mean? Like they just click together really easily. I think that could be amazing as well. So either way, I think they're definitely going to be. I don't see them just reusing the AIM one or the original AIM controller. So I mean, one or the other is going to happen, and I'm happy with either one. I think so.
Yeah, Gamertag says he feels the AIM controller never got the amount of games it deserved, and that's true. He says he thinks it's the best peripheral in first-person shooters for VR. Yeah, we've spent many an hour talking about this. Now not that I'm the most experienced person in the world with gun stocks or what have you, but I agree. I love my AIM controller, and it makes good games great and decent games good.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what direction Sony takes it next generation.
Yeah, we'll have to wait that long, maybe a year or so. I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly. Rendered Reality says, I want something like the Force Tube. Exactly my point. When you have something like a Force Tube, you don't have to try to use software to emulate recoil, because the thing's recoiling in your hands. It's kicking you in the shoulder. And that's what I'm saying. This is the type of things that you would expect from an AIM controller version 2.
Yeah. Well, sensitive shoulders, Wes. I want to have a
right. Plus, the friggin' Force Tube is so expensive, man. That thing is nuts, but I'd love it. I'd love to have one.
Yeah, they're definitely very pricey, but as technology gets better, maybe they aren't so bad. Maybe that you got a Force Tube one. That would be pretty cool, right? Would you pay $150 for an AIM controller with Force Tube recoil?
Oh yeah, I'd pay $150 for just a regular Force Tube, straight up. Yeah. That thing is amazing looking. Anyway, I did say it was a slow week for news, but there's some cool stuff to talk about. And but before we get into that, let's start off the show like we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Again, PSVR Underground joining the chat. Thanks for stopping by, sir. Our favorite lady, Gamer Chick 13, in the chat. Hello. Void Citizen, Rendered Reality, Ray Delator. Hello, sir. Boy Brown. We already said hello to him. Rendered Reality, Techno Glitch, Blam Crotch. Go ahead and laugh at his name. You know you want to, Roots. Our friend Onakazi joining the chat. Andy McAvoy. Hello. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Come on, come all. Everyone's showing up, Roots, for the big show. And, big news, or non-news, however you want to look at it, from the PlayStation VR world this week. But not every piece of news that we got had to do with PlayStation VR 2, because after nearly a year of silence, SciTech Games has confirmed via Twitter that a Windlands 2 PSVR version is nearly ready to release.
Mm.
PSVR support was announced when the game launched around 2 years ago, but a long period of silence has fostered a growing sense of doubt that the game would ever come to the console based platform. Since its 2016 launch, Windlands has been the gold standard with regards to swinging locomotion in VR. But the 2018 follow up cranked things up a notch by introducing a story campaign which features boss fights and optional co op multiplayer. Roots, you and I both know firsthand just how fun this can be and just how fun that it can be with friends. Now, I was starting to lose hope that this game was going to come to PlayStation because, as you know, sometimes these games that feature, 2 and 3 player, 4 player multiplayer co op tend to have trouble translating onto the older hardware. But it looks like it's going to be a thing, and I couldn't be happier for the PlayStation community.
Yeah, this is a game it's a real shame to miss out on. I know a lot of people have not played it for a lot of reasons, but I've played through this a couple times now with different people, and I might play through it again. I really enjoy it. It's really fun, and like you said, the swinging for it is the best. It's the best feeling. I imagine I don't have a fear of heights, but I get that pitfall in my stomach. I imagine if you have a fear of heights, it would be super, super fun, and you should try it. So.
Yeah, this is an amazing game. Now, when it comes to the locomotion, in a box, I say Jupiter Grot even maybe even just a little bit better in that regard. But as a game as a whole, Jupiter Grot doesn't hold a candle to Windlands 2 because there's so much going on here. Whether it be the gigantic kind of open world map that they let you roam freely, whether it be the boss fights, which are epic and steam. Don't they scale up in difficulty when you bring more players in?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's more waves, more things to shoot like this worm. I mean, it'll go through 3 or 4 waves versus, the 1 or 2 that you do by yourself. So I've played it by myself. I've played it with a couple people, and I've played it with 4 several times. And that's the beauty of it. This game, we talk about it all the time, the co-op, but this one is one of those ones that is just amazing with other people, especially if everybody's whipping around, zipping, and you see your friends up there, or you're up front, or you're Scion, and you're creeping up behind Roots and passing him, and it's really cool, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and unlike Jupiter Grot, you're not going to beat this one in 2 hours, right? Even if you've got the full 4 player ensemble going in, it's going to take you a little bit longer because this is not an easy game.
No, and there's several bosses. And the biggest gripe, I guess I would say, some people like Radio Runt, he liked it, but he wasn't a big fan of it. Is going back and forth, because you get to one place and then it's like you literally get there and then it's like, hey, go back. But I mean, games do that all the time. But the beauty of this is the locomotion feels so good and it's so much fun. Especially with other people, you don't mind. You get to that next place. There's an actually story pulling you through. You got to rescue this. You got to do everything for these people, Wes. This guy, man, he's flying around on some freaking thing that if he would just let me grab on and go, he could save me a lot of trouble. But now he makes me zip around on this thing while he just flies around. But yeah, no, it's one of the best games of this sort, and like you said, it is definitely not short.
Yeah, certainly the saving grace is the locomotion because there is a lot of backtracking in the game. But the good thing about it is the map's so large, you don't have to go the same route that you came, right? You can take the scenic route and go way off course and then kind of loop back around into your destination. The game's really good about giving you a visible waypoint so you never really are lost. As far off the beaten path as you can get, you at least know which direction you need to go in, even if it is easier said than done.
Yeah, mostly you can get lost, Wes. And this is the only gripe that I ever had about the game. And it's not a gripe in a way that it's just because it makes it harder. But you go to get those waypoints. And so like the waypoints are everywhere, and it doesn't matter if you come across a waypoint, it's not necessarily the way you want to go. So if you just like, oh, hey, there's a waypoint, and you go to that one and you see another one, you can end up going to somewhere that's nowhere. And then, if you're not, it's one of the things that's good and bad, I guess. Bad in a way, a good way, is you have to figure out where to go sometimes. And sometimes you get lost. That's where having four people is good, especially if the person who started the game is fairly competent, because you can teleport to them at any time. If they're the ones that never start a game with somebody that sucks at this game, Wes, because you might be waiting on that person to get there and they'll never be able to get there because they can't teleport you or to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, I'd rather be in that position than to be the guy that sucks and trying to keep up with some of these guys, because that was the case when I was new to the game. Like, it was all I could do just to keep up with these guys. This is not an easy game from just a locomotion and platforming standpoint. The maps, unlike a game like Jupitergrad, the Windlands maps go out in all directions. It's not just one flat level that you're flying through. The maps go in, out, left, right, up, and down, and they go up and down quite a lot, don't they?
Yeah, it's all over. That's one of the best parts, is you're up at some really high point and you can see where you need to go down, and you just run and jump off and see how far you can go. And you can grab onto any green thing, so you grab onto it. But yeah, I think what you said at the start of this whole thing is exactly the thing to focus on. Finally, the people that only have PlayStation VR get to really experience how amazing this game is. And I imagine it's 4-player co-op still, correct?
I would hope so. They have not announced it. I know it's a legitimate question, because when you think of a game like Evasion was like 3 or 4-player co-op on PC, but when it made it to PlayStation, it was only 2 players. And again, anything that you're bringing to PSVR 1, it's got to run on vanilla PS4, which is, as time goes on, is becoming more and more a limiting factor. So time will tell. Hopefully, hopefully with it being the end of the life cycle rather, we'll see Sony allow developers to take the gloves off a little bit and kind of specialize and tailor the games to PlayStation 4 Pro as well as PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Well, either way, they're going to get a good game to play, fun one. I'm assuming it's not cross-platform either, right? I guess we haven't heard that.
That's a legitimate question as well, because as you know, the systems are there for cross-platform multiplayer. The game does work cross-platform between Steam and Oculus, does it not?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Which game did you say?
Windlands 2.
Oh, Windlands 2. Yeah, it does actually. It does. Yeah. So, I imagine it does, because I don't own it on the. Well, actually, no. You have to link up. There's some weird thing with it, dude. We had issues linking up sometimes, even with the same copy, because we went out and bought same copy. So now that I think about it, there's probably a good chance it doesn't play it nicely at all.
I think that it's supposed to work cross-platform, because I'm pretty sure that they have an in-game friend system for you to pair up with people. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been probably a year or longer since I played this game, but I seem to remember that.
We just had issues linking up. Sometimes we could link up, sometimes we couldn't. It was really bizarre. There was like one night where we even specifically didn't end up playing because we couldn't link up. Me and Scion, Radio Runt, Spry Guy, I think it was, or Overgees, because we swapped out people. But yeah, either way, hopefully it'll all sync up and everybody will be able to play together. Either way, even if it's just PlayStation VR only, I think it's still worth playing through. And I still think people will enjoy it.
Oh yeah, people are going to love it, especially on the PlayStation VR platform, with the way titles have been trickling out over the last 6 or so months. I mean, this is a fun game, and even 2 years later, still holds up. So some people were saying that maybe this would be a PlayStation VR2 title. I don't know, man. I mean, it holds up pretty well today, but you're talking about waiting another year and a half. Not so sure that they would want to sit on it that long.
Well, and that's what's weird is it's already been waiting 2 years. Like, I saw the trailer that somebody had linked when I was looking for this trailer, or seeing if there was a new one out, that was just saying PlayStation VR coming soon. And that was 2 years ago. And I was thinking, dude, what happened, man? Like, people have been waiting for this game for 2 years. I'm glad it's finally coming. I don't think it's waiting for the PlayStation 5 either. I think that's a stretch.
Our friend Anthony joining the chat. Hello, hello, sir. Welcome. Have you picked up your PS5 yet? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. He's not going to buy one, Roots, until he's going to totally buy one. He's just in denial right now.
Yeah, well, this is a good time to not buy one because they're not easy to find. It's like when I decided I was not going to get one, I was not going to get a 3080 with all the people stressing to get it. It was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, even though I would like to have had them. It was one less thing I had to worry about trying to finagle and staying up for hours on end trying to get a hold of, and just all of the not. It's just such a weird time right now. I'm like some of these people. I want to be able to walk right into Best Buy and I want to grab it off the shelf and walk out. And even if that means I've ordered it at Best Buy and I'm going in to pick it up, that works for me too. But just all the lotteries and all that, it's just so weird to me.
PSVR Underground says rumor is multiplayer couldn't work on PS4, but I don't know. That's a tough one, dude. What do you think about this game as a single player only game?
I feel like it would be less desirable than Borderlands 2 was to me as a single game. And Borderlands 2, I still think I like that game in VR. I feel like there's that big part of it missing. But yeah, I mean, it would still be fun. It's still worth playing through. I played it through by myself. It's definitely worth playing through. It's just a lot more fun with somebody else, at least one other person. But, having four people swinging around doing their thing and watching other people passing you and you're racing and you're trying to do these cool tricks and trying to look cool to your friends. I don't know. Everything about it was, and even those doors you had to open up, you had to coordinate with everybody, everybody had to be doing their thing, be on their toes, hitting some stuff because they don't give you much time, especially with four people. And they give you a lot more things to hit to open the doors. We sat there for sometimes 10 minutes trying to open a door. So I just feel like some of the game would be lost by not being multiplayer.
Yeah, I agree. Still, I think it would be a worthwhile game. It still would be fun by yourself, but that would be a pretty tremendous blow. Hopefully, they could do again like Evasion did, and at least get one player, one extra player in there with you, so you could at least have 2-player co-op going on. But who knows? I guess time will tell. We're not going to have to wait that long. No word yet on an exact release date, nor has there been any mention of a possible release on the Oculus Quest. Roots, what do you think about the prospects of Windlands 2 coming to Oculus Quest? You'd think it could run it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't see why it wouldn't. I mean, it's not like it's the most graphically challenging. And we've seen games out there that, baffle us how they look so good. So I'd be surprised if this game doesn't come to Oculus Quest 2. And I think it would be amazing on the Quest as well. And Anthony says he enjoys and prefers the single player. So he'd be one of those people who just say, I don't care if it's multiplayer or not. I love this game. I'm going to play through it anyway. And he's definitely correct. It is an amazing game. And it's just the freedom of the movement, man. It just feels so good. Just watching it makes me want to swing through. And, I mean, it's like you said, one of the best, if not the best, locomotion of this type. So.
Yeah, Gamertag says, can't believe Hyperdash is free on Viveport straight out the gate. It is indeed, and we're going to get to that. It's a pretty good week for Viveport, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later during the free stuff and killer deals segment. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Oculus Quest and some of the comings and goings from the last week. Virtual Desktop, the infamous Oculus Quest application, which allows users to control their PCs from inside the headset, now officially offers the ability to stream PCVR games wirelessly to the headset. Facebook had previously not allowed the feature to be included with the app, restricting it to a complicated sideloading process, which involves users posing as developers in order to get the necessary files onto their headset. The change comes a couple of weeks after developer Gigodin had applied to release the feature via App Lab, Facebook's brand new distribution method for non-official applications. When asked for the reasoning behind reinstating the wireless feature nearly 2 years after banning it from the official Quest store, Facebook Reality Labs VP Andrew Bosworth stated that after being super conservative about quality control of the store content when Quest first launched, they're now putting more and more control into the hands of the consumers. He also noted that so many people were sideloading the alternate version of Virtual Desktop through SideQuest that bringing it back to the official store was now kind of a no-brainer. Roots, what do you think gives here, man? Like, literally, this was a widely used thing before they banned it. Obviously not as many people on the Quest platform at the time, but this never stopped being a popular feature. And in fact, I think that SideQuest, owes a debt of gratitude to Virtual Desktop, because I think a lot of people only went through that whole rigmarole of creating a developer account and learning how to sideload just to get Virtual Desktop. So like, it's interesting that now after all these years that the feature that was always never good enough now all of a sudden is good enough. They're saying they're going to empower the consumer. Roots, what do you think?
I think that's funny. My thing is I know that it's good in a lot of ways, right? There's a lot of people that don't want side quest. They don't want to side load. They don't want to developer mode. It sounds like too much. It sounds bizarre. It sounds like something I might mess up my tech that I don't understand very much right now already. And so it prevented anybody from even trying to do PCVR. And this is kind of funny because there's so many people out there in the PCVR crowd, the Quest haters, I like to call them, that they're just constantly knocking the Quest. But this is just one more thing that is going to make it easier for people to play PCVR, stream it if they weren't even thinking about it. Like, oh wow, I can play this wirelessly now. Let me check out this PCVR thing. I think it's going to bring more people around as well. I think it's good for everybody. But it's one of those things where, and the governments around the world do this as well. It's like when things aren't going their way, they judo move to make it look like we decided we're going to be more open for you. We were being forced into it, but it's our choice. So thank us. So I don't know. I think it's good for the consumers, but it's funny that they try to say that they're trying to empower us.
It seems like every couple of weeks now we're getting one of these stories regarding Facebook. And I'll point out this time, like I have every other time, it's interesting timing considering the fact that Facebook is currently facing charges from the federal government that they have intentionally ripped off products from smaller startups. And I find it interesting that, all this time Facebook has said, Airlink's coming, that we're working on our own, virtual streaming functionality. And now all of a sudden, now that this lawsuit comes, Facebook's like, you know what, Virtual Desktop, who needs App Lab? Come right on back home to the official Oculus Quest store, where you should be. Now, that may or may not be their reasoning behind it. At the end of the day, I don't really care. This is great news for VR as a whole because it adds, very useful functionality to the to the headset and really lowers the learning curve needed to get into wireless streaming with your PC. A lot of people, especially newer users to VR, they would be lost trying to learn how to set up their Quest for side loading. But now all they have to do is install Virtual Desktop, and the thing pretty much runs itself.
Well, the way it should have been to begin with. And Anthony says, why would anybody want to stream PCVR? And I would remind Anthony that not everybody wants to buy a cable, for one. That would be my biggest thing. Is somebody just came into VR, they spent $300-400 on a VR headset and they find out, oh shit, I can connect this to my computer. I wonder if it's good enough. Well, let me buy this program, or maybe they know it's good enough and they check it out. It's one less step to get in there. And if you can run it well, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if you've ever ran it well in PCVR on the Quest 2. Like I know I'm able to get it when I had it to run perfect. And so that kind of gives you that freedom of what you've said in the past, Anthony, with the beauty of the Quest 2, being able to just put the headset on and go. Now you get to do that with your PCVR games as well. And it's a game changer. It makes the friction level drop so low that it makes you, if you're apprehensive about the friction of PCVR, maybe more apt to get into a PCVR game. So
Yeah, obviously Anthony being facetious there when questioning why anybody would possibly want to stream wirelessly. With that said, I find the timing of this surprise move curious to say the least, given the recent confirmation of PlayStation VR2 and the subsequent criticism for the apparent lack of wireless support. So do you think it's strange, Roots, that like a day after PSVR2 is announced, half of the world is excited, the other half is saying, "No, man, not without wireless." And then here comes Boz the next day saying, "You know what? We have wireless. It's officially supported on our store. You can even play Steam VR if you want to." I found that to be a little bit weird, the timing of it all.
I think it's totally makes sense. I mean, I didn't even really think of it in that respect. You're right. It definitely is one of those things where you're taking something that the consumers think is a disadvantage, and you're rubbing it in the competitor's face and saying, "Look, well, not only do we have it, but we're going to make it easier for everybody to get into it and make it mainstream." Because let's be honest, wireless PCVR through SideQuest was not mainstream. It was too many hoops to jump through for somebody coming into some technology that they may or may not understand. And it was a lot easier. I guarantee it was a lot easier for me as a PCVR user to set SideQuest up for somebody that maybe they don't even have a computer and they're just using their phone. Now you've got a lot more hurdles to go through, at least. And I don't know if it's I guess it must be easier now. I don't know with the App Lab, but
yeah, PD in chat says playing Half-Life Alex in his car was an awesome experience. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I do think we have a little gamesmanship here on the part of Facebook because, even though I really don't think that Sony really considers Facebook to be much of a competition for them, I don't think the same can be said for Facebook. I think they absolutely look at Sony as competition. Although when asked to comment on the confirmation of PlayStation VR2, Bosworth responded by saying, quote, "I'm certainly glad that they're making one. PSVR was such a tremendous hit and was a huge place for our developers to make cash. I hope PSVR2 is as well." Do you think that he really hopes that, quote, our developers are going to go make a lot of cash on PSVR2?
I don't know, man. I guess as long as it makes everything, as long as it bolsters their standings, I don't think they would care. But yeah, I question that.
Do you think he wants to see Stormland 2 come out on PSVR 2? Because as you know, before Stormland had even launched, Sony had snatched up Insomniac Games.
How cool would it be if Stormland came out on PSVR 2, but they fixed a lot of the things that should have been in the regular version as far as story wise and stuff, and you have an even better version, and the PCV people can't get to it. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome too. I just like to see people's heads split open, and then everybody has to go throw down their $500 at 3 a.m. when their bot tells them that PSVR is in stock for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, whatever the motivation is, kudos to Facebook. They've made a lot of consumer friendly choices over the last 4 to 6 weeks, whether it be bringing virtual desktop to the official Quest store, or creating App Lab so that some of the games that we've always wanted to see on the Quest store can finally be gain access not only to you know the the main menu in your Quest device, but all of the other Oculus backend services that come along with App Lab, whether it be the app sharing feature that they just launched this past week. Finally, now you can set up multiple user accounts on your Oculus Quest and share apps, much like Steam VR does. Although it isn't quite as liberal with it as Steam VR is, unfortunately, it only allows for 3 additional users. And for a guy like me that has a family of 5, now we got to pick the one who doesn't get an account, right?
Yeah,
But
well, the
it's
kids can share one.
right. Well, anyway, as it is, uh, no matter what their motivation is, Facebook making a lot of consumer and developer friendly choices all of a sudden, and they should be commended for it.
Let me ask you this. This is my elephant in the room question for Guy. And Guy, if you're out there, I need an answer and I want it now. When are we going to get 3D? Like, let's get rid of this need for Vorpex, the need for Helix Vision, build it into virtual desktop. Let me play my favorite game of choice easily in I just want to play it on an immersive screen, virtual desktop style, just like you got. I don't want to have to hit any buttons, just, I guess, one button, 3D, and have everything come into 3D goodness. And, I don't know how much that work would take, but we need to get on it, Guy, and then I'll love you forever.
Well, here's the problem with that. That's certainly a feasible thing that could happen, but it could only happen with developer support and a universal 3D standard.
Yeah.
So because of that, I don't think it's very likely that you'll ever see anything like that on PC. Now, it certainly could be implemented on a console platform like, say, Oculus Quest or PlayStation VR. But just to have like a program that you plug games into and it makes them 3D without the developer supporting it, I think Vorpex and Helix Vision are about as good as we're going to get.
Yeah, well, then Helix Vision needs to fix their stuff. I love both of the programs, but they both have their weirdness at times. And I just love virtual desktop. It's the one thing that I know is stable. I can always go to. It's always going to be there. So I would submit, even if doesn't have 3D and people haven't tried this, just for playing games like I was playing last night, Helldivers in virtual desktop, and being able to play it in VR, it changes things. I think it's worth it. So.
Void Citizen in the chat says, "Where is To the Top on App Lab, though?" That's exactly what I said, friend, and a lot of us are saying that very same thing. Anthony says Electric Hat Games probably hates Facebook at this point and never wants to talk to them. Yeah, you see, we talked about this, Anthony, on our Money Show 7. I think you're right. It's a double-edged sword for them, right? I mean, Facebook now kind of needs a few of these bigger, higher profile apps to promote their App Lab platform. But I mean, they've dicked over so many of these guys. It's got to be, bittersweet for them now to be able to finally come through the back door. I'm sure they want to tell Facebook to stick it up their ass, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty big pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see most of these developers swallowing their pride and joining the party.
Yeah, pride is not good. It's always good to just be the humble person and take that slice of pie instead of watching it float out the window. So
Anthony says we're like a good donut. I don't know what that means. Maybe we're delicious at first, but you regret it afterwards. I don't know.
I see. I didn't read it that way. I read it as a compliment.
Or maybe it's because cops love us so much. Police officers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the police officers love us. I do appreciate what they do for me. That's for sure. A lot of crazy people out there, Wes.
There, dude, don't get me started on that. Anyway, again, kudos to Facebook for doing the right thing. Let's hope that the federal government, the developer community, and the consumer body continues to pressure them, and they continue to do the right thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping, crossing fingers. Any which way, I like to see Oculus having to do what they're doing, whether they're being pushed into it or not. I like it. So,
You know, Anthony says we're like a good donut. Maybe it's because we have a big hole.
you know who else
You
has a
know
big
who
hole?
else has a big hole?
My mom.
Oh, in
Uh,
unison, Roots. I think that's the first, huh?
yeah, that was definitely. We were right on the same wavelength.
Anyway, let's talk excitement, Roots. You know, many times you've told me what a damn fool I am for not ever trying out the Pinball FX2 VR game. And you know what, Roots? I like pinball in real life. I'm a big Star Wars fan in real life. So I was pretty excited to see this past week that Zen Studios has announced its next VR game, and its next VR game is Star Wars Pinball VR, set to hit all major headsets in April. The original flat version of Star Wars Pinball launched way back in 2013. The title featured tables based on several of the films from the iconic science fiction franchise. Star Wars Pinball VR will bring those tables into VR for the first time, also adding new content
Ooh.
to keep the title up to date with the franchise's ever expanding universe. Roots, what do you think, man? Do you like Star Wars? I know you like pinball.
Yeah, no, I think the Star Wars. I like the original Star Wars. I like some of the newer ones. Some of the latest ones have gotten weird, but as a whole, I like the franchise. And I think this is super cool. I think it's super cool for a lot of reasons. I want to play these tables in in VR, right? This pinball, and there's been so many people, myself included, that said, "Why did FX2 stop where it stopped?" Like, if you got FX3 out there, and that's one the game I really wish was coming out. There's so many tables out there, Wes. I'm sure you've looked, and I've played some of them in the Helix Vision, and they're phenomenal, right? And they're so good, and it makes you wish that they had all of these in VR. I will submit, because this is such a big IP, these tables are going to be super cool. Anybody that loves pinball is going to love them. They did such a good job with the FX2. If this game does as well as I think it's going to do, I don't see how we don't end up getting FX3 in VR eventually. I think this is they're like, we'll see how, if it's worth bringing that big thing in or something of that nature. And I was saying back in the day, because Main Fan always was a big pinball person, that these games, I would imagine, they're better than any pinball game in real life, because they're done so well and they're doing things that you could never have happen in real life. Like, you've got TIE fighters flying around your face. You know what I mean? It just, there's a different level of immersion. So I think this is going to do really well. And I was super excited to see this. So.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty great to an extent versus real pinball. The problem with VR pinball that really can't seem to quite crack into full immersion mode is the fact that when you're playing real pinball, you're not doing this, right? You're leaning on a table. There's buttons on the table, and I feel like in order to really get that sensation, you would have to modify a table somehow to incorporate your controllers, or I don't know. Maybe you could uh, set something up like I don't know. Maybe with a keyboard or something, some special mapping, you can make it happen. But I need something to lean into. If I'm playing pinball, I need to feel like I'm playing pinball. You know?
Yeah, so I guess I would equate it to be like, it's kind of a similar argument for like people with Resident Evil 7 saying, I've got to have two hands. In real life, I've got two hands. I can't use a gamepad controller. It's just weird. It's not going to translate the same. I understand what you're saying, but it's one of those things that if you play it enough, you just adapt, and it becomes, it's like, and I've heard people say this as well. uh, playing games that where you're running around in VR, but it's not a gamepad, and you've got two separate controllers, and they say I can't do that. But the reality is all you've done is you've taken your two controllers and separated them. It's no different. The buttons are exactly the same. It's the mindset of feeling like they need to be together, or else I can't control it properly. But if you do it, I've said this before, there's people that can play Call of Duty and own almost everybody on this planet with their feet because they have no hands. Um, I think you could get used to it. But I get what you're saying. For immersion level, it would be amazing to have like an actual table set up to where you felt like you were doing that, right?
Yeah, well, let me be clear here. I'm not saying that I don't think the game would be a ton of fun. Like when you talk about these people who don't want to play with gamepad or whatever, I'm that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't want to play it or I don't think it would want to be fun. But when you say is almost as good as real pinball, I kind of feel like for it to be on that level, you would have to have some kind of a table controller or a modified table to hold your controllers, something you could at least lean into as you're playing.
Oh yeah, especially for somebody that's like a pinball, aficionado. Like this is their world. For them, especially, they'd be like, "This is cool, but like I need the actual game." So I get what you're saying.
Anthony and Onakazi both bringing up that Jeremy from Tested kind of made exactly what I'm talking about here. So,
Yeah, actually,
uh,
well, they've done some cool stuff like that, like with the guns and that, all sorts of different stuff. But I think I remember seeing that them making a pinball machine with controllers. It can be
shout out to
done.
Tested. They just put a new 3D VR series out on the Oculus TV. I haven't
R-
checked it out yet, but I'm sure it's
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Anyway, 8 tables here, Roots. And what somebody was asking a moment ago if this was the same tables from FX3. Uh, I don't think so. This was a standalone Star Wars pinball game that was released on flat in 2013. So, Roots, knowing that this was released in 2013, I'd say following this logic that we can expect Pinball FX3 to come to VR somewhere in the year 2026 or 2027.
We got plenty of time then, right? Well, this is cool. Like these are all tables that you haven't been able to play then in VR ever. So it'd be cool. Even with FX3, you could play, with Helix Vision, or maybe you've played them because you play FX3. So the likelihood of playing these before, I think, is slim. I like the fact that there's 8 tables. I really, really, really hope that they don't have like them broken off like they did with the FX2, where you had to only have 3 of them. You had to swap out which ones you wanted to have in your displayed or whatever. Just give me extra rooms. I'll walk over to another room where there's another 2 or 3. It can be done. I guarantee it. You don't have to have them swapped out. Um, but so now let me ask you this: do you think there's a possibility that they add extra tables, or this is it? Like it's like a DLC?
They've alluded to the fact that the game is all set up for future DLC. So yeah, I
Nice.
absolutely do expect that to be a thing here. If the game is as successful as everyone expects it to be.
I can't see how it isn't. Like, there's not anything like this. I mean, I guess you got Pinball FX2 and VR, right? And Quest 2. So, it's just really good. And I think this will do really well. I want to get it. So,
Anyway, 8 tables total. 2 of them completely new tables. One of the new tables is designed around the hit Disney Plus show The Mandalorian. The design will focus on the first season of The Mandalorian, where you can pick up bounties, rescue the child, meet characters like IG-11 and Moff Gideon, and say things on Twitter without losing your job. The other new table is called Classic Collectibles. As you complete missions, you'll collect classic Star Wars action figures, which come alive in the process. Now, I think this is cool because I mentioned before, I am a pretty big Star Wars fan. And one of the things I used to do when I was in my early 20s was collect these Star Wars action figures. So to see them incorporate that into a table, I think is really neat.
yeah, I love to see those little characters doing their thing, right? I think that's one of the best things. Like I said, that's the thing that is cool, is seeing all these things come to life in front of you as you're playing the game. And It's just really cool.
The other 6 tables are based on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, the best Star Wars movie, period. Thank you. Star Wars Episode 6, The Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. There's a table based on Star Wars Rebel and a table based on Star Wars Masters of the Force. This is something that's really cool, Roots. It says all of the original mini games have been upgraded to offer a total immersion mode for VR, this is something I wasn't aware of, that there are actually mini games other than just the pinball. And it says when a mini game starts, you'll be shrunk down onto the table so that the sequences are as immersive as possible. I think that this really could set this title apart. Did they have mini games like that in the Pinball FX2?
I don't believe so. Not that I saw or ever experienced. And you saw something like kind of like that where you're riding on the speeder through the Return of the Jedi Endor. You can see that in this trailer. So I think that's exactly what it's alluding to. And just the thought of shrinking down, especially like we've always said, that's one of the best things about VR is scale. Being able to look around and you're 1 minute you're playing the pinball machine and now you're in it. You can't get that from real life pinball, Wes. It just doesn't exist. And if it does, then we live in a crazier world than I thought, for sure.
Well, it doesn't exist in the world of the sober person, but I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there who have chemically altered their brain in a permanent fashion. And those people are probably zooming into all kinds of tables, not just pinball tables.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could zoom into, right?
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't want zoom into a table?
I mean, especially in 2021, for sure.
Anyway, Zen Studios Star Wars Pinball VR set to launch 29th of April 2021, supporting Oculus Quest, PlayStation VR, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Valve Index. Roots, how long do you think we have before they stop listing Oculus Rift and HTC Vive? It just seems kind of weird even now.
Yeah, well, it's what the Vive especially, but the Rift, either way, why don't they just say Oculus Link? But it's weird. It's weird because it's still the standard. Those are still the games that people are focused on for controllers, and they're getting phased out, bro. I guess the schematics for the Quest is still the same, but
yeah. I mean, that's a good thing about Oculus. Even as they progress, they kind of keep the same form factor, at least a similar form factor. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I still think that they're emulating even the old Lighthouse design, and that's the way most of this PCVR works to begin with.
Yeah.
Andy McAvoy says the Vive's still on sale. What the H or what the F?
Well, you could get the Focus. Let's not forget about the Focus. That was an amazing headset. So
yeah, there's the Cosmos Elite, bro.
Oh yeah, the Cosmos. Cosmos actually, if you spend enough money, becomes a viable, possible headset.
Yeah, you spend enough money, it's on par with Valve Index, they say, but almost not quite there, but very, very similar
without the glare.
Anthony says original Vive is still pretty good. You could use a super thin face gasket and get an amazing field of view. Yeah, I think the real criticism of that device was the
controllers.
Well, I mean, yeah, that too, but the screen door effect. I think the screen door effect was pretty pronounced in the OG Vive, or at least that's what people say.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roots, it wouldn't be an episode of Virtual Strangers if we didn't talk about some new game announcements, ones that you probably haven't heard of. So let's talk for a moment about a game called The Shore. I think that this game, Shore, looks pretty awesome. And it comes to us from developer studio Eris Dragonis. And they recently released this game onto Steam as a flat game, but they have confirmed that VR support's on the way. The confirmation came via a recent post in a Steam discussion thread. The developer went on to say VR will be different It will include many events from the standard release, but will also include extra stuff. The Steam page summary of the game says that The Shore is a game about the mystery of the unknown, set on a forbidden island filled with horrors. Based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft, the story features many of his best known creations and more. Players will see the world through the eyes of Andrew, a father in search of his lost daughter. Players will experience the shore through immersive, atmospheric gameplay and encounter the most nightmarish Lovecraftian entities, all while solving mind bending puzzles. Try to survive as Andrew as he endeavors to save his daughter's life and perhaps uncovering the secrets lurking within his own sanity. Roots, Upload VR's David Jagano, the person who wrote the article that I lifted these notes from, drew a comparison to Edge of Nowhere. And from what I can see from the footage here and then the description, I got to say, I see the resemblance.
Yeah, except for that's third person, right? This is more first person. These things look a little creepier. Almost. The Edge of Nowhere is it's one of my hands down one of the best games I've ever played in VR. And so getting a chance to go through something similar. I'm assuming this is you said it's a puzzle game, but it's got some other things like actual monsters to kill and stuff as well. It does look pretty creepy.
Yeah, it looks creepy as hell, and that's my the score. That's my deal. I'm all about stuff like this. The problem is that right now, no information on launch window, no information on supported devices. All we really have to go on is just a few lines dropped on this Steam discussion thread. But I mean, they didn't mince words. They say that VR is coming. I just hope we don't have to wait another 2 years before we see this game come to PCVR.
You're not gonna buy it and play in Vorpax?
Right. Well, I mean, that might be a viable option, right? Because I mean, let's face it, if this thing comes out 2 years from now, we're all going to be playing PlayStation VR 2, or at least most of us are going to be playing PlayStation VR 2.
The wise ones.
Right, right. No, man, I think this is cool. I loved Edge of Nowhere. I love these type of surreal horror games, these Lovecraftian games. It's the type of thing that I've always complained there isn't enough of in VR. And it seems like lately, at least people are taking stabs at the genre, right? At least, I mean, some of these games may have technical issues, but at least now, people are trying to make this type of game, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. I need to stream Edge of Nowhere. I just realized I need to play through that game again. I need to pull some people.
Yeah,
with
me too. I haven't tried it even on like Rift S. I don't think I played it. I think I haven't really looked at that game. Not really, since the OG CV1. So
G2 that shit up.
Exactly, or even Quest 2. Man, Quest 2 has super sharp picture. I need to concentrate more on my favorites of yesteryear in today's equipment.
Yeah, well, absolutely. There's a lot of games that deserve to go back to that I guess kind of fall through the cracks, right? We always go to the same ones, the Hellblade and Senua's Sacrifice. Just all the different ones that looked phenomenal, but we forget about the Edge of Nowheres.
Techno Glitch says, so is 120 hertz now official on Quest 2? No, it is not. That was actually just it was kind of alluded to by Facebook officials, but it wasn't really confirmed.
Was a thumbs up, right, in a Twitter or something? Somebody gave a thumbs up.
It was a wink and a nod. It was pretty much a wink and a nod. Just like this deal with the Quest Pro that everyone seems to be running with now, like it's a confirmed thing, because Bosworth winked when he said, like, so that's everybody. Just like the other day when Facebook had the investor meeting and they revealed the stunning revelation that they're working on their next headset, everybody kind of ran with it. Quest 3 confirmed, Quest 3 confirmed. That they're doing the same thing with this wink and the nod stuff on Instagram, and I think it's hilarious.
Let me ask you this: do you think it's possible that it's the same thing? Everybody's ran with Quest 3 and they're running with Quest Pro. What if it's a Quest Pro and there was no Quest 3, or vice versa? Or I don't know, man. I think you're right. And that's one of the things that it gets a lot of views, I'm sure, but it's
This
not
thing's been
news.
out, what, 3 months? Well,
Yeah.
how long's Quest 2 been out? 3 months, 4 months? And people are pining for another one already. And
Yeah.
this was a
Mm.
significant jump in tech. It wasn't just like a baby step up from Quest 1. It was an improvement in literally every category from Quest 1. And people are already, pining away for the next one. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. That's the way the world is, you know?
Yeah, I guess, man. On to the next. We have a 5 second attention span, and now we want more. Like, didn't we just spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars on new hardware? Let's
Mm.
let's use it for a year, guys. Come on.
Yeah. We want the bigger and better deal, and we want it now. So,
Absolutely. Shiny Robot wonders if PSVR2 will be OLED or LCD. I think it almost certainly will be OLED. And the reason why is because when they first started giving us information on the device, they said three things. They said more resolution, they said more field of view. Both of those were reaffirmed in this past week's announcement, but they also said HDR, high contrast displays, and maybe LCD will get better at the HDR displays. But I got to think that a high quality HDR display for VR would most likely be some form of OLED, like PlayStation VR1 was an AMOLED.
mm, yeah, it's gonna be so good. Psyched.
Paradise Decay says Quest Pro will have headphones, comfort options, that sort of thing, aimed for the more hardcore gamer. Yeah, I agree. If Quest Pro is a real thing, that's what it'll be, and I won't buy it if there's no technical upgrade to it. I mean, I've got good headphones, man, and they're comfortable. So, and my to be honest, my Quest 2 is comfortable. Like, I've got a VR cover on it and the Elite strap, and it's a comfortable headset. I don't need any more of quality of life updates. Now, if they want to give me a better screen or something along those lines, we'll talk. But I agree with you. If Quest Pro becomes a thing, it'll just be a nicer, higher quality build with the same specs.
Yeah, I might be inclined to buy it if since I don't have one right now. If this is my thing, Wes, and because I've been having such weird audio issues. The off the ear is the future. It's the way it has to go because VR is so hot already. When you put the headphones over, especially if you play for an extended period of time, it ends up getting extra hot because your ears are on there. And then if you have the earbuds, at least the earbuds that I got that fit in the ear, those things aren't comfortable. That, at least for me, they're at least the ones I have are just not the most comfortable in the world. And so having the either superior audio built into the strap, if they spent more money in a Pro, exactly the same design but just better speakers, I would be behind. Or even some type that's like the Index, where I just think that that's the future. I'm not walking around in real life with headphones on. I need to feel as much like I don't have earphones on as I can. Um, so hopefully it'll be built into the headset and not be like actual headphones. Like even the Rift S were a little bit. I mean, the OG Rift was a little bit invasive with the way that they fit on your ears. You could feel them, and it can be immersion breaking. So
Brandon0135 says HDR would be a greater increase to immersion than any further resolution increase at this point. And I agree with you. HDR is going to be a big deal. Apple reportedly also bringing an HDR product to the market. So it's going to be a thing. I think we're going to see more headsets going to it. And I think it is going to be a big deal. Anthony and Hussein X both seem to think that maybe a Quest Pro would have a display port plug on it, like maybe a mini display port. Um, if it were to have that sort of thing, I would be inclined to consider buying it because, you know, the Oculus Quest as it stands right now is a standalone which also has PCVR functionality. If it were to have that one thing, a high bandwidth video interface, then all of a sudden it goes to the other side of the spectrum. It becomes a PCVR headset that also does standalone. I don't think that they're looking to do this because, that would be, it would basically act like a native Rift. It wouldn't be a Link anymore. You're talking about a new standard, a whole new product, basically, is what you're talking about here. It would be great if they did it. I do not expect it, but if they do, I'm going to be looking at it really hard.
Yeah, that's what I want. Because there's so many issues with the, even with the, just with the Quest, the Link. It just, I have had issues that would not exist if there was a display port. So hopefully, I would hope that's the case, but I agree it's probably not likely.
Yeah. People talking about the off the ear headphones. Every now and then we start talking about this stuff, and it reminds me of all those many months ago that I backed that Kickstarter for the VR ears.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of a headset am I going to have when I actually finally get these things. I backed that Kickstarter in the hopes that I could have good audio for my Oculus Quest 1. And that's long gone. And Quest 2's here, and I've got my G2 now, so like Quest 2's not even my main, but I'm wondering if I'm going to get these things before the PSVR2 gets here.
I don't know. Well, the good news is at least they've been jockeying their positions as far as which headset people are going to have and allowing you to switch it. I was kind of under the impression when it first dropped that it was going to be for multiple headsets included, but then it turned out to be just one for each person. But either way, I think they should be good. I mean, if they do what they say that they're going to do, what you backed, it's going to be in a phenomenal product that solves this issue I'm bringing up, right? So,
yeah, I thought that too. I thought that they were going to give us a universal set of clips with it. The way it was worded made it seem that way. And then after you ordered the things, they turned around and said, okay, pick your clips. Which kind you want? And they give you one set, and then they made you pay for anything else, which was kind of upsetting, after they delayed it and then new headsets came out. And I'm like, so I paid for clips of a headset I don't even have anymore because you guys are so late. But sure enough, they did let us change it to Quest 2. So that's good. At least I'll be able to use them, although the need isn't quite there anymore like it was when I ordered them. And to be honest, even at the very fair price I paid for them, I probably wouldn't order them today because, again, the need isn't quite there like it was back then.
Yeah, it's all right though, because might be in limited supply at first. You could sell them.
So they're saying that stuff like this is going to make the Quest 2 into a Quest Pro. So, hey, it looks like pretty soon I'm going to have a Quest Pro, Ruuts.
Yeah, you're gonna be set, bro. Except for the fact that I'm assuming the Quest Pro, if it were to exist, will include the band. It'll be built into it. Maybe you won't have to hybrid it, take it off, put it on. No cracking. I don't know.
Anthony says that Jason Rubin said they can make a 2K headset that would change your life. I'm sure that they could, Anthony. It's all a question of getting it down to an affordable price now. They've been working on eye tracking and dynamic foveated rendering for years at this point. They've been working on varifocal for years at this point. And believe me when I say that varifocal is going to be a game changer. People don't realize the immersion level, how the immersion level is going to ratchet up when instead of simulating three-dimensional viewing, that you're actually just seeing things in 3 dimensions. It's going to be a game changer. And I hope that when Quest 3 arrives, that it's actually half dome and that it includes varifocal in it, because I mean, it's going to do a lot of things. It's going to ratchet the immersion level up. You'd think that it would remove the age limitation because it's this vergence discrepancy is the reason why they don't want kids in VR headsets. Well, Varifocal completely eliminates that as a concern. So you'd think that if Quest 3 were to have Varifocal, that you'd be able to put it on your 7-year-old and let him go, you know.
Yeah, that's the dream, right? Put your kid into VR and just let them go into the VR world.
He says Anthony says he wants full color pass through as well. You know, I think full color pass through would be cool, but only if they let developers use it in applications. Like I could care less about pass through as a feature. Like, you know, when I'm playing a game, I'm playing a game. I don't need to eat pizza and drink coffee, you know. But if they unlock it for developers to kind of make these mixed reality sorts of games, now we're talking something that I'd be interested in.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway, one more. Oh,
Two more.
let's see here.
No, I guess
Two
one more.
more. One more. Yeah, one more game we need to talk about before we get into the week's reminders. And it's another flat title being brought over into VR. And this one kind of a pleasant surprise, Roots. Early access mini golf title Golf It by Profuse Entertainment has added VR support as of this past Friday. The update, which is available now, allows for crossplay between VR and non VR players. Golf It is a multiplayer mini golf game with a focus on dynamic, fun, and creative multiplayer experiences. The current version of the game features 6 different maps with 18 holes each: Grassland, Winterland, Graveyard, Mines, Pirates Cove, and Jade Temple. Every map has unique gameplay features and unique aesthetics. Every asset of each area and more, get this, Roots, are available to use in the game's multiplayer level editor.
Ooh.
Currently, there are over 2,300 placeable objects inside the multiplayer level editor. Roots, mini golf is, or golf of any sort, is something that I have never done in VR. And I know with the recent popularity of the walkabout mini golf game within our community, I felt like this one might go over pretty well with those guys because I think it looks pretty cool, even though it is, you know, a 3-year-old flat game.
Yeah, well, what's weird is I was looking at this. I was like, my God, it looks so good. And like you said, the best part of this is it's got all the content created by users. So I saw all sorts of videos of crazy golf courses and, 2,300 assets. I don't know how many courses are out there, but I know there's a lot of good content creators that create cool courses. So I think this is a really good game. There is a big push for golf for some reason. Miniature golf in general is fun. And this one looks more elaborate than, say, some of the graphics or most of the graphics, I guess, and Walkabout, but it is a flat game. And I guess you said it's in early access still. So they've been working on this thing for 3 years, right?
Yeah, they've been working on this game for over 3 years now. And, I think it's cool that they don't tease people with VR for a year before they announce support. It's just like, blam, here's VR. Enjoy your mini golf game. I find it interesting, Rich, reading the chat. We've got Radio Runt saying he's buying it now. Boy Brown says both Walkabout and Pro Putt are awesome. Onakazi's size and the do-it-yourself VR channel says, come on, just give us games like Alex. F all of these crappy games. Dude, I must have missed the Alex news this week, Roots. What did you catch the Half-Life Alex news this week?
No, I didn't see any Half-Life Alex. I get it. So that last comment is exactly how I feel about all the tech demo indie games, like the ones where you go in and you're walking around and it's like, okay, this is cool if it was 3 years ago, but it's clearly not that. It's a different genre. And I guess if you're not into miniature golf, this is a great multiplayer game. I guarantee this thing is going to be amazing, especially with the right people. You know, I grew up in California where miniature golf is actually uh, celebrated. I don't know if you knew this, Wes, but at least I felt like it was as a kid because there was so many cool, really elaborate miniature golf courses that were indoors, and it was like, you know, you're going to Bullwinkles or whatever it is, like this place that it would take you for hours to get through this miniature golf course, and it's so elaborate and cool. And so I went to those as a kid. This is the closest thing I'm ever going to get. And as cool as walkabout mini golf is, it's not this type of elaborate courses. And so I think I just think it's cool. It's really cool that these developers clearly must have had this on their mind from the beginning. And like you said, it's like a grip style release. Bam, it's done. It's here, and it's only $8.99 for this game. As I'm finding out with like Radio Run, I just bought it myself.
Boom. There's two. Who's number three?
So I'm
I'll
gonna be
buy it. I'll
yeah,
be number three. Who's number four?
yeah. So I guarantee I'm gonna be playing this with the community because it looks amazing to me, and I couldn't believe that it was a flat game. Come, you know, I'm the opposite, West. When people say, "Oh, flat game coming to VR," I get excited, man, because that means the development was so much more intense and money spent because it was coming out on flat. You can't just release some crappy game on flat. You know, if it's worth anything, then of course. But it looks like it's good, and I love creator content created by the community. So
Yeah, you know, and Radio Rent, by the way, says that the Steam Workshop really looks good. You know what I love, Roots? I love it when we shine a spotlight on these smaller developers and their games, and instantly people buy it. That's literally what we're here to do, or one of the things that we're here to do is to help promote these guys' games, and it always feels good when we see it work. You know, immediately, instant gratification coming from our boy Radio Rent. Thanks for watching and thanks for responding.
yeah, absolutely, and that is exactly what our two goals. One was to bring to people VR and say, hey, look, VR exists and this is how cool it is. And the other was to bring people to the developers and say, hey, you know, showcase their games. These are the games that are worthwhile. You need to check them out because we all benefit when these developers do well, because if their game is good, we're going to get another one. So
Paradise Decay says, I get excited with flat games when they work in Vortex. Such a game changer. Yeah, man. I got to imagine that. I mean, it's kind of limitless, right? If you could play flat games in VR, then I mean, the world is your oyster, right? I probably should spend more time messing with
you
Vortex.
should.
It's just the fear of the unknown with that thing because you never know, or at least I never know, if it's going to work smoothly like Journey, or if I'm going to sit and fight with it half the night, like my first Resident Evil 7 experience. But you know, I'm encouraged not only by PD's recent success, but by your recent success, Roots. And you've been having a lot better experiences in it lately, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that I'm like PD on the same for the same reasons that I just described, except for Vorpex. It hasn't came into VR, but I want to play these games, Wes. But spend myself playing less and less flat games, and so if I can get into VR and play it in a way that makes me feel is better than flat, then I'm playing through like Smash Daddy and I have been playing through a Way Out. I don't know if you've ever seen that game where you're escaping from prison and
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
ridiculous
Actually,
thing.
I've watched a lot of playthroughs of that game. I had no idea that you could play that like multiplayer. I knew it's a story based prison escape game, right? And it's got a pretty elaborate story with it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's strictly multiplayer. It's so multiplayer that there's like parts you get to that where you have to both be there. It takes both of you to do this.
Oh
It takes
yeah,
both of you to that. Like you're trying to break out of the prison and the one guy's getting ready to be searched and he has to pass you the contraband, and you have to hide it. And the most ridiculous thing about it though is like there's a point where we were like, man, we need to get in here. We need to do this real quick. We've got a time limit. The cops are chasing us, but then there's all these opportunities to fuck around. We stop and we start playing darts together, or we're pitching and playing baseball. And my mindset is, the cops are coming. What are we doing? But it's I don't know. I just really enjoy it. But it's a game that I would have never played if I wasn't playing it through VR. So I think it's just an amazing thing.
Now that you mention it, thinking back, you're right. It was a multiplayer playthrough. Now that I think about, I watched it on the Dashy Games channel, and I used to just watch him play Mario Maker. But I watched him play No Way Out like a bunch of times, and he was multiplayer. He was playing with what's the John Witherspoon's son? You know John Witherspoon from like the Friday movies, and he's in a bunch of movies. But anyway, it was his kid was playing the multiplayer in that game with Dashy. It was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, no, it's fun. But you know, it's basically my point is that it's you know, like PD said, Vorpax, Helix Vision both open up a doorway. It's exactly why I said I wanted Guy to work on it for virtual desktop. There's this big misconception that every game needs to be full VR, and if the thing's on an immersive screen, it can be just as enjoyable. And it for me, it opens up games that I would never play before. So I think it's cool.
I agree, and I should probably put well, you know, I think I've got one or two of those games on my beat it list already, if I'm not mistaken, at least one of them. But it's been so long since we talked about it, I don't even remember what's on there anymore. We're gonna have to revisit it soon on the episode of our late night show to refresh our memories and talk about our progress, huh?
Absolutely.
Anyway, Golf It currently in Steam Early Access officially supports HTC Vive, Valve Index, and Oculus Rift. Check it out, $8.99. Can't beat that.
Yeah, dude. Good. I wonder how many multiplayer people you can play with. I didn't even check.
I think it was up to 4 players, but that's just an impression. I didn't take notes on that. I don't really know. I was
Okay.
thinking it said 4 players, but it might be more. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's good enough for me.
Absolutely. But let's talk about the week's reminders, Roots. We do have some stuff out this week. Entering early access, Z Race from, I guess it's pronounced Zocus, XOCUS. This is a new racing game. I was watching Rendered Reality talk about it the other day. That this is a game that was intended. The drive of this game was to give VR players an awesome racing game that won't make people sick, which, you know, on the surface sounds like, you know, red flags to me, but they say it's pretty cool. And another thing that's really cool about it is that the ships in the game, the logos that are on the ships are logos from your favorite content creators. So there's a VR 365 ship, there's a rendered reality ship, there's a gamer tag ship. And Roots, you know how in Dirt Rally there's that other guy in the seat that you hate so much because he's always telling you what to do.
Yeah, is he here?
In a sense, there is a voice that's telling you what you need to do, but it's your favorite content creator. So it's Anthony telling you what to do. It's Gamertag telling you what to do. These sorts of things.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I have myself? Is there a virtual strangers one?
No, unfortunately, we didn't make the cut because when they were rounding up these ships or shows to put on these ships, I think we had like 400 subs or 500 subs.
Yeah, we weren't good
I
enough.
did submit our logos and stuff to them back then, but I guess we didn't make the cut.
Oh God! So now I got a decision. If I play this game, if I were to stream it, who do I pick? I don't want to piss anybody off. I think I would probably. I mean, just throwing this out there, just because I think it would be the most pleasant experience would be having Anthony as my wingman in my ear, telling me, "Okay, Roots, you need to go left here. You need to go right." I could deal with Anthony there. It's that other guy in Dirt Rally too that I can't stand.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe I thought that maybe it was just the idea of anybody telling you what to do. You know, it's like wear a mask, Roots.
Well,
Screw you, dude. I'm not going to wear a mask. You know what I mean?
it depends on what they're telling me, you know, and in what manner, you know. Just be polite.
I guess that's true. But then again, do you think Anthony's really going to be polite when he tells you to hit
No.
that left?
Come on, Roots. What the fuck are you doing, dude? Go left, bro. Go left. That's what I want to hear. I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. And I wonder how many different content creators are out there in the list.
8 ships. Do I have that wrong, guys? I didn't take notes on this game. I just listed it in out this week. I think it's like 8 ships right now at launch, but they're not all unlocked at the beginning. Like you start with a few and then you can unlock the other ones.
So like the creme de la creme will be the gamer tag one. You can get to the very end of the list and it'll be a cool ass ship. I think it's cool. You know, I think there's a big misconception that people have to be first person. And I've played enough games. You know, I'd love to have a stun runner game, and this kind of feels like that. And I saw somebody said in one of the comments that, oh, you know, it was on the video. If you know, if this was first person, I'd be in. You know, oh, if this, you know, one guy said, yeah, there's too many tunnels. You know, at some point, like my advice to these people is go make a racing game, have less tunnels, and you're good to go. I'm going to take it as it is. It looks amazing to me, and I can't wait to try it.
Paradise Decay says that one of his lines was, "Don't hit that wall, you'll scuff my logo." One of my lines would be, "You know who else has been in this back seat?"
Yeah, oh yeah, you know who else has scuffed up the logo? Yeah, I mean there could have been all sorts of stuff. I don't know what I would have had my my one-liners, but that's kind of cool too. Is like to try out the different ships, right? It's like I want to try the PD ship so that I can see what PD would say, and then you get to feel like you got your favorite content creator there. Although the two that I love the most aren't in there, but you get to have your favorite content creator next to you, so, you know, letting you giving whispering in your ear, sweet nothings. So
It sounds like a good time to me. And again, available in just a couple of days on the 2nd of March, so not very long to wait at all.
cool.
Also out this week, The Climb 2 coming to us from Crytek. A couple days later on the 4th, Roots, a long awaited game here, highly touted game from Oculus. And, you know, a popular format, tried and true, but with a little twist this time. It's not all nature scenarios anymore. I guess you're going to get to be Spider-Man in a sense this time.
I know that sounds cool, man. For a second there, I thought I was gonna get to go suck people's brains out in the persistence, but then I realized the trailer was wrong. But no, I'm kind of psyched for this. You know, I enjoyed the first one. I think it was way overpriced. I can't imagine this being $40. Maybe it will be. But I definitely think that it'll be fun. It'll be a lot better than the first one. So
Well, you know, when you're talking about sequels from highly talented studios such as Crytek, then yeah, generally the sequels do tend to be a bit better. I'm interested to see what this game looks like because at least it's launching as a Quest exclusive. Although I do expect it fully to support, you know, Quest 2 enhancement, which, as you know, when people push that device to its limits, you're not that far underneath the capability of your average gaming PC. So interested to see not only, you know, what kind of new scenes and new mechanics they're bringing, but also interested to see what they're able to do with that particular device.
yeah, yeah. Anthony says if it's over $30, ouch. I agree. I mean, man, I understand that the first one was $40, but I just don't think it was worth $40. You know, I think it's a $20
Yeah,
game, $30 game
I
at most.
I agree. At $30 kind of seems to be the line. If they're trying to charge more than that, I mean, it's kind of tough, man, because I mean, you could make it as premium, you know, as an experience as you like visually, sound wise. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of a tech demo, is it not?
You're
I
climbing.
mean, it's a legit game, but you're climbing, right? You're climbing. The hook is you're climbing in VR. You're up really high, and I'm sure it's amazing. I'm sure that you know, you're going to get vertigo up there, and it's going to be very effective. But at the end of the day, if you're charging $40 for it, I mean, I need to have a story campaign. Give me a reason to be climbing. You know.
That would be cool. An actual story campaign that's pulling you through, right? You're trying to rescue somebody or something.
Oh, speaking of which, the Stride developers have shared some a few glimpses of the story campaign on Twitter this week, and it looks pretty badass, dude. I got to admit.
Oh, nice. Well, they should need to share the game too. I
Yeah,
guess
I
I
mean
gotta buy for it.
there was some indoor scenes and stuff. It wasn't just all the same like the other footage that we've seen.
Oh, cool. Oh, good. Hopefully we get that exactly what we wanted out of it. So
But anyway, a couple other things out this week, but those were the two major ones I wanted to mention. Z Race out on the 2nd, the Climb 2 out on the 4th. All right, and that's going to bring us to our next set of reminders. And this is the part of the show where we ask you, the viewer, to please help us right now in supporting these developers by taking a moment out with us right now in real time as we go and wishlist a game. There's a reason why these devs always ask people to wishlist their games. It really helps. It helps to raise the profile of their game on the particular platform that they're trying to sell it on, and it also helps them to gauge user interest in their game. So if you liked any of these games that we talked about here today, or if there's another game you've had on your mind that you really want, please join us now as we go and wishlist one of them.
yeah, I almost felt like you were gonna say, "Join us now in a moment of silence for whatever." There's a lot of stuff to be silent for. Yeah, there's a lot of good games on here. I was gonna do Golf It, but I already own that, so I can't wish list it. I could wish list it, but it would be weird. Um,
Well, what about the other one, the Shore? I think it's out right now as well, and I
no, that's
think it
true.
looks pretty
Yeah, but
awesome.
I couldn't. I would. They need to let me know when am I getting my my VR patch, or did they say that was already out?
No, it is not already
Okay.
out. I guess you could ask them to time frame it for you. I have got the feeling though that it's not going to be very soon, so
Yeah.
be prepared for disappointment.
Z
You know,
race.
speaking of Lovecraftian horror, uh, the Hinge developers seem pretty adamant that people need to try their game out again. They've just released another big update for it, and they say that it's finally now fixed, that everything runs
Mm.
well, and they've even put new enemy types and stuff in the game.
Oh,
So
nice. Well, we definitely will, and we definitely will talk about it. But let me ask you this: do you think that they're? I mean, that's the danger, right? It's like it's great to patch stuff and fix stuff, but there's that point where it gets too far, and then people, like you said, they're stressing that people need to check this out, and I agree because it's so good. But imagine day one, we're in the same position they're at today, and everybody's trying it for the first time in that position. And I understand that ship sailed, but I just don't think developers really focus enough on making sure everything is good. You know what I mean? So,
proper playtesting is priceless, right? Because if you get people who are experienced VR players that aren't just happy that they're getting a free game early. Get some legit people, some curators, content creators, people who will give you an honest opinion about your game. Get it in the hands of these people early, and they'll tell you what you need to fix before you launch it. Because you only get one chance to make a first impression, and especially if it's a Steam game, people treat the Steam reviews like they're gospel, and it's hard to get out from under a negative review on Steam. So, yeah, absolutely. I hope that this is a lesson that more developers take on, and they really use people to vet their own game before they announce a launch date for it.
yeah, there's plenty of people out there just waiting to try games. So,
Shiny Robot says, "What title we wish list?" I picked The Shore. I don't know about Roots here, but I already had the Climb 2 on my wish list, I'm pretty sure. And like Roots, I think I'm going to buy Golf It. So,
Star Wars
uh,
Pinball. That's my
oh,
note.
dude, I forgot all about Star Wars Pinball already.
That's my
Uh,
that's my
well, lots of
go-to.
good stuff. Lots of good stuff to pick from. Guys, be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you wish listed this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, our next set of reminders are my favorite this week and every week, Roots. Free stuff and killer deals. We're going to start off the way we always do with your PlayStation Plus reminder for the month of February. Last week to get these games, folks. If you haven't claimed them yet, be sure you do so. Good stuff here. First of all, we have Concrete Genie, which is a really great flat game with a limited VR mode. But again, hey, it's free. What are you going to do? Get it, right?
Yeah, freeze free.
Control, the Ultimate Edition, both for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. If you're one of us foolish people who went out there and threw your $500 down on a PlayStation 5, you could at least get this really awesome flat game for it. Again, no matter which PlayStation console you own, absolutely free this month. And then there's Destruction All Stars, which came to PlayStation Plus day and date with release. This is a brand new game for PlayStation 5 that they launched directly into PS Plus. And I think this one actually is going to stay free for another month or so before they start charging people for it. So you still have time on that. But those other two you need to get in there and get because those are great games. And you only got a couple days left to pick them up.
Have you tried it or tried that the most recent one yet? That one, the third one you talked about, the one that
Destruction All Stars?
Yeah.
No, I have not. Yeah, I barely have time for flat gaming, and I haven't even played the one game I was playing. I haven't played it. I don't think since I came back from the power outage I've played it.
Oh wow. Yeah, you need to get your next game out, right?
Yeah, I've been busy, man. I've been busy. I haven't hardly had time to play VR, let alone flat.
Andy McAvoy says he wishlisted Project Terminus. Says it looks pretty decent co-op game. Has some cool gameplay concepts.
Project Terminus. Yeah, I'm thinking that that was a side quest title, wasn't it? I think
I'm not sure. It sounds familiar for sure.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a similar title, but I think that might have been a side quest title.
Yeah.
Anyway, that moves us to the PlayStation Store where they continue to have these massive PlayStation VR sales. You know, Roots, it's been bi-weekly, right? They'll have a sale and then they'll hold it for 2 weeks. Last week there was a sizable PSVR sale that started. And as you know, I don't repeat sales week after week. So all of those games that were on sale last week are still on sale this week. Only now, since the big news about PlayStation VR2 came out this week, they put a shit ton more games on sale. It's now a massive PlayStation VR sale. So I have some new titles on here that you guys might want to check out for not very much money. First of all, there's a Chair in a Room Greenwater, which is a great suspense thriller game. I mean, borderline horror game from Wolf and Wood. $8 on the PlayStation Store right now. That's a great price for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Art Pulse, which is one of these art and music creation applications. I have no idea if this thing's any good or not, to be quite honest. But I know it's $1, and I know that ain't much money.
$1, man. That's cheaper than a cup of coffee.
Absolutely, especially when you get a quad venti white mocha or whatever it is.
Yeah, and hey, you could order my coffee, dude. If you brought it back, if you were visiting, you're like, I think this is what you wanted. I'd be like, dude, this is exactly what I get. It's good.
Yeah, pretty like a steel trap, Roots.
Yeah, that's right.
I said I don't mention sales from one week to the next. I don't repeat them, but I'm going to make an exception with Dreams because I came on here last week and I was just dumbfounded that Dreams was $15 on the PlayStation Store. But what I didn't know at the time that was the everyone price. Ooh. If you have PlayStation Plus, you can get Dreams for $10.
Oh my God.
$10. Dude, that is insanity. Even if you never touch the creator tools in Dreams ever, like me, just the endless supply of VR content that comes from this thing is worth that, 3 times over.
Absolutely. It's worth getting the PlayStation Plus, man. Good deal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you get Dreams, you're going to get Farpoint free next month. I mean, and that's not all. It's not like Farpoint is going to be the big deal next month. You're also getting Farpoint on top of like, I think Final Fantasy VII or something, and then like Remnant from the Ashes. Like I think that's what the March lineup's going to be, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Superhot on sale for $10. Don't buy it. People, please stop buying Superhot. If people don't stop buying Superhot, we're never ever going to get a Superhot sequel, because why would they release it? It's probably done right now. Superhot 2 has probably been done for a year, but they're not going to release it as long as new people keep buying Superhot. So stop buying Superhot.
And that's
But if you
exactly
don't own it, it's $10 on the
and
PlayStation
that's exactly why
Store
we
right
put
now.
it in the lineup. We want you to stop buying it. But you're right.
Right.
$10, man, is I mean, that's a amazing deal for this game, and it's just good if you don't own it.
Superhot team announced this past week that they have now sold 1 million units on Oculus Quest alone.
Oh wow. Well, they definitely
25 bucks a pop, Roots, do the math.
If they haven't made Superhot 2, they need to do it because they got the money
It's
for
done,
it.
dude. It's totally done right now. I have no doubt that Superhot 2 is done right now. They're just polishing it, waiting on people to stop buying the original Superhot.
Yeah. Well, this is a good way. Knock the price down.
I mean, let's be honest. They'd be stupid, right? Even if it were done, they'd be stupid to release it right now, because people are just buying this shit up at $25 a pop on the Quest store.
Yeah.
What they should do is they should release it as a PC exclusive, Superhot 2.
Yeah.
And then when people stop buying Superhot on Quest, then they can port it in.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's see it done.
It sounds like a plan. Anthony says it plays best on Quest. I would have to agree with that. Pistol Whip, $16 on the PlayStation Store. Worth it all day long.
Yeah, I need to play the 2089 since MASH gifted it to me. I have not played it yet, and I want to talk about
it. Speaking of long overdue sequels, Moss celebrating its 3rd anniversary, Roots, with a big sale, $12 on the PlayStation Store right now.
$12 worth it all day. If you don't own it on PlayStation VR, you should be picking this up right now.
One of the best VR games, period.
Yeah,
so atmospheric.
And it's got the reflections. So, like, this is the good version.
Absolutely. The Room VR, A Dark Matter, is half off at $15, Roots, on the PlayStation Store.
Now, we need to actually get into this, Wes, because we keep saying this. And this was a game that I just ran into a customer that I saw Quest 2s and 2 of them in his basement. And I went and I asked if, hey, have you played it? Or is it something that your kids play? And the wife was like, he plays it, points to the husband, and he starts listing all these games. We had a conversation, and that was one of the games that he said he had tried, was the Room VR. And I keep thinking, I was like, man, I need to get into that damn game, and it just needs to happen, Wes.
Do-It-Yourself VR channel says Superhot was done by devs from Poland. I lived here, and I know someone who knows these guys, and that's it.
Well, I'll tell you what, all the good games seem to be coming out of Poland. So.
Dude, Poland must have nothing but awesome VR developers. And you know what? These guys are proud of it. Simplex is the same way. Do-It-Yourself VR channel the same way. I was watching an interview with a talent scout from Sony, like a PlayStation. He's a technology scout who goes around, tries to find startups and stuff with new and interesting technology for them to acquire, right? And he was being interviewed by this, the interviewer was from Poland. He was a Polish guy. And, obviously when you're talking about immersive technology, it didn't take long for the conversation to get turned into VR. And the Sony guy brought up Superhot, and the interviewer just like interrupted him and was like, and Superhot devs are from Poland. And I thought of Simplex. I thought of all of our Polish subscribers and how proud they are. And they have every right to be. I mean, I don't want to throw shade or anything, because absolutely Polish VR devs are amazing, but a proud people.
Yeah, if you do something right, you want people to know, hey, this is what we do, right? Idaho potatoes. A
lot of good athletes out of Poland too. A lot of good fighters.
That's true.
Polish UFC light heavyweight champions from Poland.
Yeah, they don't mess around there, for sure.
Anyway, don't buy Superhot ever again so that we can get a sequel, but it's $10 if you want it. Trover Saves the Universe, half off, $15 on the PlayStation Store.
That's worth it, hands down, all day. That's a game worth the full price. Definitely get it if you don't have it.
For sure. Paranormal Activity, not a bad buy at $9.
Yes, I don't think I've played through that one. I have to try it.
I have. I played through it in full on my channel, Lethal Weasel VR. Link is in the description.
Yeah.
And I've started uploading my Lies Beneath playthrough now too. So
Oh,
if
good.
you guys are interested in that, I actually have some fresh content coming to the Weasel channel, something that I haven't done a lot over the last year. So again, link is in the description if you guys like VR long plays. That's how I do it, start to finish.
Yeah, you know who else likes long plays?
My mom.
Okay. Ghost Giant Roots. You know how good this one is. It's $11 right now.
Yeah, I really like this game. I need to get this game for the Quest when I get my Quest 2 back, because I want to play through it with the tracking, you know, because I played it with the PlayStation VR, and this is one of those ones you want to make sure your camera's set up properly for it, or else you're gonna have a lot of buyer's remorse, and it's not going to be the game's fault. It's going to be your fault.
Yeah, it's like Hitman. Even though Hitman did get a patch this past week, it had this thing where, like, if you didn't hold your controller in just the right way, it threw this blue grid up around you. And they patched that so that you can turn that off now, which is a big plus.
Oh, nice.
Rush, a great multiplayer game, especially on the PlayStation network. $9.
Yeah, talk about flying, right?
Dude,
Fun.
I love this game. It's so fun. It's easy to get into, even with people. You know, people talk about console VR, and there's a lot of ups and downs with any platform. But one of the big pluses to playing VR on PlayStation is uh, frictionless multiplayer experiences. You know, every time we play a game in PC or even on Quest, it's a crapshoot whether or not you're going to be able to hear people or connect with them. You know, not so much the case on PlayStation Network, and Rush, a shining example of that.
Play testing. That's all I got to say. You know, there's a reason why when Dash Dash dropped, finally, it was 100% almost perfect, you know, because they did so much extensive research with the people and what works, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves with multiplayer. And if I'm going to play with other people, I need to talk to them. I need to be able to join the game with them. If I can't get in the game with my friend, if you make me Bloodborne it, where you're one person standing in a corner ringing one bell and then someone else is doing the same thing in a different place, it becomes a real pain in the ass to join up with people. And like you said, consoles, you know, for the most part, don't have that issue.
Yeah. But say that, you know, for all of the things you sacrifice for playing on console, you know, you get that friction-free experience from the time you start the thing to the time you turn it off. There's no settings tweaking. There's no wondering if multiplayer is going to work. There's no wondering if the game's going to break. All that stuff has been taken care of through the internal processes of the company.
Yep.
Sports bar, $4. Now I'm wondering about Sports Bar Roots. I did Sports Bar on PC, and I was not a fan of the locomotion. It is clunky as hell to try to move around in Sports Bar, which is unfortunate because Sports Bar also happens to be the only game with a decent game of billiards in it. You know, the actual pool playing in Sports Bar is actually pretty good. It just sucks to have to move around the table the way that you do. So hopefully it's different on PlayStation. I don't know that. But you know, Polish devs, if you're watching, make us a friggin' billiards game that works. You know, Sports Bar is all we've got, and you know, again, they ruin it with the locomotion. I want an awesome billiards game, Roots.
Yeah, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, it was good, but it had its problems, like you said. So,
You want a game to go buy right now? Go buy Separation for $6. PlayStation VR exclusive, an indie title. I'm surprised this never came to PC because it is an indie title, but the guy only released it on PlayStation VR, and it's an awesome game. It's a steal at full price. It's $12 full price. It's half off right now. It's $6.
That's a good deal. It sounds familiar. I feel like I've tried that, but I can't remember.
I don't know if you ever know it, but I know we've covered it. I've played it, and we did cover it. So
Okay, maybe that's why it's in my mind.
Mage's Tale, a great dungeon crawler game for $10. A really great dungeon crawler game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of good sales, right, for PlayStation VR, especially if somebody's planning on getting into PlayStation VR2. You can get a lot of amazing games for cheap that are still going to be good, right? So,
Yeah, I don't know how compatible they'll be with PlayStation VR2, but I mean, if you got PSVR, it's a great sale this weekend. This isn't all the games that are on sale. These are just the ones I picked out to talk about. There's a bunch more that I'm not talking about. So definitely get on there and check it out for yourself.
yep.
A Never Out from our friends Game Dust, the people that brought us Jupiter God. Their Never Out is a decent puzzler by most accounts. But when you talk about $1, then all of a sudden this game looks a lot better.
Yeah, that's a cheap price, man. You got a lot. You can check that out for $1. That's worth it.
Yep, for sure. Kona VR bundle. So this is Kona, a flat game, story driven, kind of a mystery game. Got a VR patch, which they sold separately. But you can get it all bundled together with the flat game and the VR patch for $4 right now on PlayStation.
That's a good deal. I don't remember Kona. I don't.
Scion played Kona. He thought it was okay.
Okay.
I know they played it on PSVR without parole too a couple of years ago, and he seemed to like it as well. And then last but not least, I figured I'd throw this one in there for our friend Anthony. Squishies is $3.
Yeah, I should have pulled the trailer for that one. Did you ever play that game?
No, Squishies was like $20 or something when it launched, $20 or $25, and I was like, nope.
And it just looked like something that wasn't my cup of tea, but it looks like a good kids game. I think kids will really like it.
Some people say this game sucks. Other people say this game's not that bad. And then other people say that it's fun. So, everybody has varying tastes, but I mean, it can't be all bad if some people really like it.
That's true. That's true. Well, and if it's any game that's oriented towards, that could be construed as a kid's game at all, there's just some people that just will not play it. So,
Void Citizen says Kona had its charm. And Scion says Kona is very, very janky, but he enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I love charming games. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. That's why I bought 2 quests, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to wrap up our little report here on the PlayStation Store. We're going to move on to the Epic Games Store. The weekly free title is a title called Sunless Sea, which is a kind of a top-down, ocean, like a ship game. Dark themes, Roots. I'm not so sure about the gameplay with this one, but the story certainly seems interesting here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I downloaded it and I was like, 99.999% chance sure that I'm never going to play it. This is just the gameplay. I was like, but it's there if I ever decide to. So
you might want to Helix Vision that thing one day, man.
True.
You never know.
You never know. It could be the next best game that I missed. So,
all right. So we're going to move on to the Oculus Quest Store. And I never do get these daily deals in my notes anymore because I do my notes the day before now. So we're going to check in real time and see what the Oculus Quest daily deal is. Yesterday it was I don't even remember anymore. Let's see here. Daily deal today is the Room VR for $24.
Wow. Well, see, that's the reason why I've never played that game. Aside from the fact that, I can play it on Viveport Infinity, so there's no excuse, but $24 on sale. That means it's $30, and it's definitely, from what everybody says, worth $30. I mean, I would say it's the number one hands down game, number one game that I remember being mentioned over and over and over again. That every time it comes up, people say, "Wow, you need to play this." So I really do feel like I need to play it.
I'm the same way because I really enjoyed that genre of games. So, yeah, I concur completely. So, $24 on Quest, $15 on PlayStation, and free with Viveport Infinity.
Yeah, that's how I'll be playing it.
There's a couple bundles active right now on the Quest store. First of all, Phantom Covert Ops along with Aspire 1 for $45. Uh, it's a bit pricey. I would say just go buy Phantom Covert Ops, pay full price for it.
Yeah, well, and the thing is Aspire 1 is always on sale, so I'm surprised that sale isn't cheaper, right?
Yeah, it's a 25% off. So
Yeah.
also 25% off bundle with Iron Lights and Wands. $30 for that one.
Okay. Does that seem a little pricey to you as well, or no? I don't know. The both of those games are pretty good, I guess. I need to get into Wands. It looks like there's a lot more to it than I remember as far
Been a
as.
lot of updates, especially since people started going nutso for Oculus Quest. They
Yeah.
A lot of these developers picked their games back up when they started making money.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. All right, so that wraps up Oculus Quest. The Link Store, Oculus Link Store has Superhot for $12. Again, don't buy it, but it's there if you don't have it yet for $12.
And this is not
Great deal.
cross buy, so be careful. They will
It
not.
is not. You can only play it with Oculus Link.
Because I would love to get it on the Quest, but it's so expensive. I refuse to pay what they charge. And, a couple times I've got fooled by myself and thought, oh shit, that's a good deal. And then I thought, oh, that's not cross buy. It's not a good deal. I already own it on Steam. So,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I own it few times. I think I own it. I own it on 3 or 4 platforms. So that should tell you something.
yeah, sure.
Dirt Rally 2 for $15. Now, I know what you're going to say. Dirt Rally 2 goes on sale for cheaper than that on Steam, but a lot of people claim that this game plays differently under the Oculus SDK and that they'd rather have it on the Oculus Store. I know Ruuts waited forever for this thing to go on sale on the Oculus Store. Well, here it is, $15 on the Oculus Store.
It goes on sale cheaper than this, though. No, what you
Sure,
said, you
right.
already knew I was going to say it. I think it was $6. That's the thing, is like it's well over half of what they're charging for this.
It's been like $50 and $60 on the Oculus Store the whole time. They don't ever put it on sale.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. We move on to Steam. Didn't take a lot down from Steam this week, but there are a few good sales. First of all, as we mentioned earlier, Moss is having its 3-year anniversary and is on a hefty 60% discount at $12. You should definitely check this game out if you don't have it. Again, one of VR's best.
Cool story, for sure.
Looking for a cool game for not very much money. How about trying out Gates of Nowhere for $3?
Yeah, $3 is a really good deal for this one, right?
Yeah. I mean, $3 is nothing, bro. And this is actually a solid game by all accounts.
Yeah, for sure.
A Weekend. We covered that on this past week's late night show. Strangers in the Night, virtual show, whatever you want to call it. Still under its launch discount. And we didn't know how much the game cost at the time, and we just kind of recommended that people try it. Not a perfect game by any stretch, but a very immersive game with a very creepy story. A lot to like here. And it's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So that's a good thing. $17. Pretty good price for this one.
On sale. So what is it, $20 normally?
Something like that. It's like, yeah.
That's a good deal. I mean, I'd say this game is definitely, in my opinion, worth $20 all day, just because there's so much to it that we have. I mean, from everything you've seen, you've gone a lot further into than me, but the polish is there, and they've got some of the things that you suggested they can fix. But overall, it's a good game for sure. It's definitely a $20 game.
Yeah, I agree. It's worth that. So if you guys are into horror games like I am, you might want to check that one out. We also talked about Naal, the Lost Eye, this past Wednesday, and we both kind of liked this one, dude. And we asked, again, we didn't know how much the thing was going to launch for, and we kind of priced it at $25. And I'm glad to say, Roots, we nailed it. But it is on sale right now for 22.
Oh
Definitely
wow.
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
And that's going to wrap up Steam and bring us to our last segment of free stuff and killer deals, the Viveport report. Where we check Viveport every week to see if there's any new games, and we got two this week, Roots. First of all, Awaken. We just talked about it, releasing on Viveport Infinity day and date with Steam, which is
Wow.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. It's a lot better than $25. You already got the subscription, yet another game that you can play through with that subscription, making Viveport Infinity one of the best deals in VR at the moment.
Absolutely. And as Gamertag mentioned at the top of the show, Hyperdash also releasing day and date with Steam onto Viveport Infinity.
Absolutely. Yeah, Radio Run's been checking this out. There's a couple people in the Discord that checked it out. They said they thought, this was their words, not mine, that it was a better version than Solaris. Like if you like Solaris, this is better than that. I haven't tried it yet, but I definitely want to. It definitely looks interesting.
I'd be interested to know if these people have tried Solaris since the updates. They've had some significant updates, and it's not what it was when it launched.
Yeah.
Maybe they have, but I'd be interested to know.
I haven't tried either one, but definitely would be interested in trying either one. And since I can try this on Viveport Infinity, it's probably the most likely of the two that I'm going to try.
Rendered Reality in the chat says The Room is one of my wife's favorite games. She couldn't stop. She beat it in like a day, and she normally doesn't get into VR that hard. Yeah, my wife's been going pretty hard on VR Adventure lately. Like
Oh,
she's
wow.
she's the same deal. She can't put it down, and it's like a friggin' torture, because it's such a difficult game in the later stages. But she keeps going, man. She's making progress.
Yeah. I see how I need to. I see that's the thing. I get worried that you're going to like voice over one of her videos for the competition. Hey guys, I'm really here. I'm not going to talk for the next hour, but I'm the one playing this, and then it'll go to her playing. No, just kidding.
Yeah, you don't. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Sounds like you got a frog in your throat, huh? But no, I would imagine that I'd see through your facade if that tried to happen. So
Okay, I think I can talk now.
yeah.
Damn, that was a rough one, man. No, you don't have to worry about that. If it were another game, maybe, but I want to play that one myself, bro. That game's awesome.
That's true.
She Rendered Reality said she would probably like that one too. She likes Moss. Yeah, wife beat Moss. It's one of the few games she played all the way through. So you're probably right. Yeah, VR Adventure is great, but it's
hard.
It's difficult. It's now she was complaining because she goes back to the first level a lot to pick up the extra lives and stuff, so she doesn't get game over. And she did say that they had watered it down a lot.
Oh, really? Well,
And she pointed some stuff out to me. They did make some real changes to the layout of the first level.
oh, wow. Well, see, that's the thing is unless you play it a lot, you're not going to really see those changes, right? So
Yeah, but they did. They have made some changes, but again, it's the first level, so I mean, you kind of get it, right?
and well, at the end of the day, it wasn't made exclusively for Roots and Wes consumption, so we gotta assume that there's going to be some people out there that are just too soft for the OG Ven, and at least we got to try it.
Wife joining the chat says, "I'm on the boss level."
Oh my god! Oh wow, she's almost done, huh? Nice.
Yeah, I'm almost to Bruce Nelson, I guess.
Bruce Nelson, dude. I heard he in Kentucky. He's not that nicest person. It's
He
just a
is
rumor.
not.
Yeah.
Anyway, Awaken Hyperdash. That's what we got from Viveport. Not a bad week.
Yeah, absolutely. Two solid games.
All right, and that's going to bring us to our final set of reminders, and that is how you can help us to grow. You can support our channel. Of course, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Just click that big red button down there and the bell. While you're at it, click all the other things that are clickable. We just need clicks, man. Comments and clicks. That's all we need, and we can be the biggest VR channel in the world, but we can't do it without your clicks. So click everything.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I need to add a comments thing because the more I've been hearing about the algorithm of YouTube is it's really increased as far as importance. You know what I mean? It's almost gone over likes and stuff. So comment, comment.
I thought so because all of the channels that I watch, the bigger ones, they're putting like big emphasis on commenting. So you guys leave a comment. It doesn't have to say anything profound. You can just write in the comments, "This is my comment." And apparently the algorithm really likes that. So if you want to support, just don't leave any obscenities without putting the little asterisk thing in it so that the robot overlords don't pick up on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? So our Discord, maybe you don't want the discussion to end. It is the end of the show. We've had an awesome time here talking VR today, but maybe you're not done. Maybe you want to talk a little more. Well, you can get us all day, every day in our home. And where do we live, Roots?
Oh, we live in the Discord, and we're waiting for you.
Discord.
We're waiting for you to come home, bro. Like, what have you been doing? Where are you at?
Yeah, we've been leaving the porch light on for you.
That's right. The porch light's been on. We've been wasting electricity.
So come home. You can scroll down to the description below and see an invitation to our home Discord. It's where we live. It's where we play. It's where we debate. It's where we talk about what we had for dinner. It's where it all goes down. So come and join us on the Discord. Invitation in the description below.
Absolutely. And if you want to go to a place where the lights never go off, the Patreon. We leave the lights on there all the time for you because we're worried about you guys and we got to keep you nice and safe.
Can't turn the lights off on the people who pay the light bill, Roots.
That's right. Yeah, you guys be pissed. Like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah, absolutely. You can, of course, as Roots mentioned, you can do a little something extra if you'd like by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you will gain access to our weekly show notes, as well as the always awesome money show. And we did share one of our money shows recently. It was the week we had the power outage and I couldn't do the late night show. So it's not that long ago, like a week or two ago. Just look up the Money Show 7 if you want to get a good idea of what we do for our Patreons. It's a episode where Roots and I meet up in some kind of a multiplayer game. But instead of talking about the game, we talk about issues like we do here on the podcast. So go check out the Money Show if you want to get a good idea of what comes with your $3. $3 for all that stuff, Roots, is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, like I said, it's cheaper than a cup of quad venti white mocha. So
there you go. Can't beat that, man.
Yeah.
Cheaper than Roots' coffee.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up here, friends, and we appreciate everyone showing out. And what's this Gorilla Tag? People keep talking about Gorilla Tag in the chat, and I don't even know what it is.
It is a free game that dropped, I think it was a week or two ago, and people have been saying that. I've been seeing Gorilla Tag, and I've been asking, what is it? And then they said it's free, and then I tuned out. But there's enough people out there that are saying it's good that maybe we should check it out.
Yeah, I kept seeing it popping up. Like, what's a Gorilla Tag? Is it anything like a Donkey Punch?
I hope not. That's
Donkey Punch VR coming to Viveport Infinity.
Yeah, you know who else likes Donkey Punch?
My mom!
And that was...
Anyway, with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you Wednesday night. Late. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.